Hello, Shoni. Look, I'm doing this for you. Your father asked me, and if I could do a little bit of something for you. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do three particular things, which I think is what you need for pre season, but you also need it during the season anyway. One is lightening of the body, the muscles in your system. You can't stretch them because no muscle can really stretch. It can lighten. It has no power of being able to do anything else. It can contract. So we're going to lighten the muscles, which I think is absolutely essential for flexibility. But I think the most important part, which the young ones are missing, and this is the part I want you to understand before I even start this. I am wasting my time, Shawnee, if you don't understand this. It is not the exercise that counts. You can get an exercise off the internet. You can get an exercise from a book. It is not. It is the understanding of how the muscle systems work, how they synchronize, how they have the ability to be able to recruitment patterns. These are things you must understand. You must understand how we were geared to move. If you just go into a stretch and say this is it. So tonight I'm taking a little bit of time to have a little bit of explanation. I've got Lynette giving you an indication of what should be done. Very, very basic, but surely it is not the stretch. Because I'll hear some of you or your friends say, oh, we do that all the time. But you don't do it properly. So the first one is one of the most basic stretches. And I'm not going to use any fancy language, gastrocnemius and soleus. I'm going to tell you it's your calf muscle. So the first one is for the big part of your calf. The important thing here is to make sure that foot on the ground is facing directly forward. The other important thing is to make sure that knee is back. People stretch, and as they stretch, they bend the knee slightly forward as they go forward. Stretch that. They might only move a quarter of an inch, but by doing that, they've lost the stretch. The other way is if you have too high a platform in your heel. If you had 1 inch in your heel, you'll feel you've got a magnificent stretch. You've got nothing. So try and do it without your shoes, or shoes that are absolutely level. Right, so this is the first one you do. Now this is for your calf muscle, the big calf muscle there, which is so important, because this one and the other one, the little one below, which is soleus, they're the ones that save you from shin splints, and a lot of you people will get shin splints. Right, so the first one was that. Right, the other part that's important with this is this. When you're moving forward, move your hips and body in one unit forward. See that? Don't just bend your body and move forward because you lost it. Now these are important points. One is keep your foot facing forward, make sure the knee is straight, and move your body as a plank. Right, the second one is for the short one, the soleus. This one has a great effect upon your Achilles tendon and your plantar fasciitis. Now, again, the back leg is absolutely facing forward, and you've got alignment there, and all you do is bend that knee, keeping that heel on the ground, right, and get your straight. Now do these for about, maybe do 3, 4, 5 of them to make sure that you straight. Hold them for 10, 15 seconds. It's no good just doing one static stretch. It doesn't help at all. After you finish that, so we're starting with the standing ones, then we're going to the more complicated one. So after you've done that, just stand up, pull your bottom back, bend from the hips. It's the pivot from the hips, not from anywhere else, it counts. And you feel the stretch going down. Now the other thing I have to tell you is, do not go into a stretch, bang. Because if you do, the googly tendons and the stretch reflexes will say, the brain thinks, I can't get out of it. It's going to hurt me. So it tightens. First one is to go in very gently. Do it very gently. Go back. Bring your legs forward a bit. So you got, right. Now, very gentle. The moment she feels that stretch, she holds it and for 10 or 20, and then she comes out of it. Now the brain says, I can get out of this, so it'll allow you to go further. Do you understand? Right. So once you've done that, stay in the same position. What I want you to do is to just spread your legs a tiny bit. I want a little bit of rotation before we get on the floor. So I want you to drop your right hand, bring this foot forward, bring your left foot forward.
You won't be able to see.
Sorry, right foot forward. Right. I want you to drop your right hand and bring it, no, right hand, and bring it down, twisting the body towards your knee. Can you feel the pull? Yes, I can see it. Can you feel the pull?
Yeah.
Right. So now that's giving your diagonals a slight, telling them this is what we're going to do. And then you do the other side, right?
Yeah.
So having done that, we then go down to the floor. The first one is the general warming up of your body, telling your brain, this is what I'm going to do. So, now remember, I explained to you a little while ago the synchronization of your muscles. Doing individual muscles is a waste of time. They don't work that way. So the first thing I want to do is to gently drop your knees to the left and let your head go to the right, and you feel a pull. Where do you feel the slight pull, Lynette?
Yeah.
Where do you feel it there? Now what is that? That's the start of trouble down your iliotibial band. That's your tensor fasciae latae, that's your gluteus medius. You'll feel that slight pull. That's an indication that it is tight. Right, get the idea? So do that a few times till you loosen it up. Right, after you finish that, take your right knee over the left. No, drape it. Drape the knee. Make sure you drape it. Bring your hands down a little bit. Now, let the knees fall. The top one is acting as a weight. Let your knees go down to your right. Let your head come to the left. Always have the twist of the head. Slowly bring that hand along the ground towards your ear. And now you'll feel a stretch all along your iliotibial band, tensor fasciae latae, in your obliques, up your lats, right up to your actual front of your, if you're too tight, you feel in front shoulder, your lats are tight. You feel it along your triceps and even your biceps. You're going to do the other side just in case you miss the arm. Very important part of it. The legs go down, the head turns to the right, and the arm goes along the ground. The legs pull down. The more you pull that down, the greater is the feeling. But again, you start light. You understand? Right, when you finish that, your knees let it drop to the right, let your foot come along the ground as it drops out that way. Now you're coordinating your upper body and your lower body. So you're starting to say, I'm not just stretching one part, I'm stretching the lot. This part is still in a rotational twist. Your hips are now moving that way. So take that up as high as you can. Hold it for a second. Remember I told you, we haven't got time, but first you just do it very gently. So, and the last motion will be bring it up, and take your ankle. And then slowly pull it up. No, pull it on the ground. Yes. And the stretch will increase. Do you understand? Don't worry about that, they can see it from there. So you take the ankle and the stretch will increase. Then relax, let it come back. Good. After you've done that a few times, remember each one's got to be done slowly and a few times to increase the level of your pull. The next one is go down again, let the leg go around. This time your hand goes with it. You must coordinate. Now we're coordinating the upper body and the lower body. Take your ankle with both hands. Now the stretch becomes right down your spinal rectus muscles, all along your rhomboids, all along your trapeziums, right down to your lats and your hips. So now you're coordinating this. Then come back exactly, it's only one hand, same way. Right? So having got that one's done, we have stretched all the back and the hamstring. Now we have to stretch the quads. Not only the quads, but the flexors. So drop your legs this way, take your right leg back, as far as you can, and take hold of your ankle. Now you can see the stretch along the quads and the flexors. The flexors are something that causes a lot of problems with sprinters, with anybody playing football, in any action which requires a lot of work on that. Right, so if you want more pressure on it, you lift your hips up off the ground and you'll find the pressure. So having done that, again you start very light and gradually you build into it. You understand? Right, so finish with that. Now, move yourself and I want you to come off the ground, come up. So come up nice and easy. Now she's come up into the exact position I want her. She flowed up. She flowed up. You don't strain yourself up, and your body must move every time. For everything you do, your body must move as a unit. You don't come off the ground just you finish one stretch and so you just lie down there. You just finished the stretch lying down. Right, she just finished, and I want you to struggle up and get up. It's how you normally would get up. No, how you not there. See, that's the struggle. where the she flows up, don't do too fast, just slow up. There, so she's using her legs to counterweight her balance, so she's teaching her brain how the coordination works in every move she makes. Right, so she ends up in, now you're going to stretch, which is virtually a sort of a limited pigeon pose. Again, it's not the stretch, it's the understanding what it's doing. So gently lean forward for the hips, feel the pull, you should feel it all along the side here, right? Then come back up. You can even allow your hands to slide forward. There's no one way from doing it, right? Sit back up. If you have a problem with that particular adductor or even your flexor, put your hand on your knee, push up against it and resist, and then let it keep coming up. Let it keep coming up gently, and then push down and resist, and you do that a few times, and you'll start feeling it activate itself. Right, so having got that far, so come up onto your thing. Right, so now you come up into a lunge position, which is the normal one which you're possibly doing now for your flexors. You know, for your psoas muscle. Your psoas muscle is the one that creates a lot of problem. The one that you're used to is this, going forward, pushing the hips, keep the body back. That's the one you're used to, do you follow me? Which sometimes works and sometimes never works. That's why I got you to do it on the ground, pulling your leg back. Let's go forward. That's it. That's the stretch you normally do. But the one on the ground where you bring the leg back with your hips lifting, that's the one that looks right now. After you've done that, bring that leg round. Bring it right round. Right. Now you're going to use your body again in a different angle to teach your body, your hips and your thighs and your upper body, how to. So move forward. Now you're stretching your adductors. See the adductor stretch? Now she puts her hand on the ground and she goes back. And as she goes back, we're limited for space here. And then you come back into exactly the position you were before. So once again, come up into the lunge.
Come up into the lunge.
1, 2. You're back in the lunge. Bring the leg around. Let your body go on. Let your body turn to the right. You must keep bending to the right. Right.
Oh,
you get the idea? So now go on to all fours.
Oh, all fours?
Just all fours. Yeah. Right. So we just, now this is a stretch you'll be doing. You're doing it. They're not much good. These conventional stretches, and they don't do the thing. We can't get far enough with it because it's stopped. But nevertheless, so let your right hand come through on the ground and drop the shoulder to the ground. So you get some sort of a twist pattern, right? That's one there. The other one is to lie in your stomach. Now remember we've done a lot here. We have to stretch the pecs. We haven't done much of that. So I want you to put your hands out here. No, in front of you, 45 degrees. 45. Remember now, lift this hand up towards the ceiling, right? And let you shut. Go the other way.
Go this way.
Yeah. Now keep your hips as far as you can. Keep going over, and slowly you'll find the pull. Don't rush it.
Can you see me on there though?
Yes, you can. Can you? Right. So by doing that, you're pulling the whole of your pecs and just gently stretching them. Come back up again.
Which has been shown on one of the videos.
And it's on one of my other videos, which you'll be seeing anyway once you get onto this. Do the other side.
Let's see her.
There. Good. And right over, right. That's enough. There. That's it. There. And that gives you the stretch from your biceps right down to your pecs, across the central wall of your sternum. So that. Right. And I want you to finish with the slight curvature of your back. You don't have to do the tiger pose, the lotus pose, the lion pose, or any other pose where you're pushing back too hard. That, holding that for 20 or 30 seconds will give the curvature of your back. Right. Shawnee, I can't put everything into it, as you can quite understand. Thank you very much indeed.